Episode 5 opens with tension already in the air, the kind that tells you trouble is coming before anyone even speaks. Tommy is pushing harder than ever to secure control of the city, but every move he makes feels like he's stepping deeper into a maze with no clear exit. He knows that with every new ally comes a hidden danger, and with every new enemy comes a promise of violence. The fallout from last episode still hangs over him, and the weight of it pushes him into a mindset that is more focused, more aggressive, and more determined than before. As he gets back into the game, the streets respond, and we start to see how many people are waiting for a chance to challenge his rise. Meanwhile, Diamond is trying to keep order within CPI, but his control is slipping as different voices demand different paths forward. The cracks inside the crew are becoming harder to ignore, and Episode 5 uses these cracks to show how unstable their foundation has become. Diamond wants peace, or at least a version of it, but everyone around him seems determined to drag him back into chaos. Jenard continues to push his own agenda, refusing to step aside or give Tommy the respect he thinks he deserves. And this only makes the tension inside CBI rise even higher. Every moment between Tommy, Diamond, and Jenard feels like a spark waiting to hit gasoline. At the same time, Claudia is moving in the shadows. She's not the loudest player in the game, but she is one of the smartest, and Episode 5 shows how quietly she is building her power. She is still chasing control of her own product and her own lane in the city, and she is willing to bend or break any rule to make it happen. Her deals, her secret meetings, and her planned betrayals hint at a major shift coming in the next episodes. She is playing a long game, watching everyone else slip into emotional decisions while she stays calm and cold. Her moves this episode prove she is not done fighting for a spot at the top, and while all this is happening, the pressure from law enforcement is growing stronger. The police and federal agents are starting to connect dots, notice patterns, and track the sudden rise in drug activity. Every time Tommy and his partners try to clean up a mess, another one appears. Episode 5 makes it clear that the streets aren't their only problem, the law is closing in. Slowly and quietly, but with purpose. By the time the episode reaches its midpoint, it becomes obvious that every character is struggling to hold on to something. Power, loyalty, or simple survival. The energy keeps building as alliances begin to shift in ways no one expects. People who were loyal start looking for safer opportunities, and people who were enemies are forced to consider working together just to stay alive. A single mistake feels like it could cost everything. The episode shows the city as a living machine, always moving, always hungry, and always ready to swallow anyone who hesitates. Tommy's plan for expansion becomes more complicated with every scene. He wants control, but control comes with pressure, and pressure brings mistakes. Episode 5 shows Tommy at his most strategic but also at his most vulnerable. Because the more he tries to fix, the more that breaks around him. And as the episode closes, the tension reaches a point where you can almost feel the next explosion coming. The final moments don't just set up Episode 6, they warn us that nobody is safe, and nothing is stable. This isn't just another step in Tommy's journey. This is the moment when the entire city begins to tilt, leaving everyone fighting to stay standing. Episode 5 is packed with small clues and hidden nods that loyal fans of the Power universe will notice right away. Some of these details are easy to miss unless you're watching closely, and they open the door to much bigger story moves that the show is building toward. One of the most interesting touches is the way Tommy keeps slipping into old habits when he's under stress, especially the small mannerisms that remind fans of his days in New York. The way he looks at certain corners of the city, the way he reacts to betrayal, even the way he stands before a fight, all of it feels like a quiet echo of the original Power series. It almost feels like the writers are reminding us that Tommy might have left New York, but New York never really left him. There's also a moment in the episode where he mentions handling things the old way, which longtime fans know is a subtle reference to the violent, direct style he and Ghosts built their empire on. It's a tiny line, but it carries all the weight of their past. Another Easter egg appears in the background during a key conversation. A newspaper headline mentions rising crime numbers, something that mirrors similar headlines seen in earlier seasons of Power. It's not just a random prop. It's a hint that the city is about to hit a breaking point, the same way New York did when Ghost and Tommy were fighting for dominance. These repeating patterns show that Tommy isn't just dealing with new problems, he's repeating a cycle that has followed him across cities and seasons. In another scene, a blue muscle car appears on screen for a moment. And while it's not Tommy's old Mustang, the style is close enough to feel like a shout-out to his past. It's the kind of visual clue that fans notice instantly, reminding us of the days when his car almost felt like a character of its own. Claudia's scenes also contain hidden signals. The lighting around her is colder than the lighting used for other characters, which suggests she is drifting further from everyone else. At one point, she is shown standing near a window with the Chicago skyline behind her. The shot mirrors a famous image of Ghost overlooking New York, creating a visual bridge between their stories. It implies that Claudia might be stepping into a role that once belonged to him, a figure working in shadows, planning her rise while pretending to play along with everyone else. Claudia's wardrobe also carries meaning. She wears darker colors when she's making moves she wants to hide, and lighter colors when she's pretending to be open or honest. It's a small detail, but it exposes her inner conflict and her layered agenda. There's also a clever callback, hidden in one of the conversations between Diamond and Jenard. When they argue about leadership and loyalty, Jenard repeats a phrase that sounds very similar to something QAnon once said in the original series. That loyalty means nothing if it isn't returned. Fans who know QAnon's personality will hear that parallel right away, and it hints that Jenard might be heading down a path where power matters more to him than family. Lines like this tell us the writers are weaving the energy of the old power universe into the new story in ways that feel natural but meaningful. Lastly, the episode ends with a very subtle audio clue. As the tension rises, the soundtrack uses a pattern that resembles the old Power theme's bass line. It's not exact, but it's close enough that fans will notice it and feel the connection. It's as if the show is whispering that everything Tommy is building in Chicago is still tied to everything he lost in New York. These small, carefully placed details show that Episode 5 is more than action and drama, is a carefully crafted bridge connecting the past, the present, and the chaos that is coming next. Episode 5 leaves behind a trail of clues that point toward much bigger trouble in Episode 6 and the rest of the season. And most of these hints appear quietly in conversations, glances, and decisions that seem small at first but carry a heavy message underneath. One of the strongest clues is the shift in Tommy's behavior. He moves through this episode with a sense of urgency that feels different from his usual confidence. It's as if he knows something is closing in on him, and this change suggests he may be heading toward a difficult choice that could reshape his entire plan. The way he watches the streets, the way he studies the people around him, even the way he reacts to betrayal shows that he is no longer trying to survive, he is preparing for war. His silence in moments where he would normally explode is a sign that he is thinking deeper, planning harder, and getting ready to strike back in a much bigger way. This shift hints at a major power move coming, one that might force old allies to reconsider their loyalty. Diamond's storyline also drops warning signs. He tries to keep the peace, but Episode 5 reveals how much pressure has built inside and around him. His crew is split, his trust is fading, and the people closest to him are beginning to act without thinking about consequences. The look on Diamond's face in several scenes shows a man who is tired of fixing everyone else's mistakes. This usually means one thing in the Power universe: a leader who has reached his limit is about to make a bold, possibly violent decision to re-establish control. The clues point to Diamond stepping into a darker version of himself in Episode 6. One where he stops trying to do what's right and instead does what must be done. His growing distance from Jenard shows that the brothers are moving toward a breaking point, and that breaking point could explode sooner than expected. On the other side of the city, Claudia's moves are getting more precise and more daring. And Episode 5 makes it clear that she is playing her own game with no intention of letting anyone else win. The way she chooses her words, the timing of her deals, and the way she studies every person she meets all point to a major betrayal coming. Claudia has been working quietly, but Episode 6 may be the episode where she finally reveals her true intentions. She has information that Tommy doesn't have, she has contacts that Diamond doesn't trust, and she has ambition that neither of them can control. One subtle clue is the way she listens more than she speaks, as if collecting puzzle pieces from everyone's mistakes. This suggests she is planning to use those mistakes in a single, powerful move that will shake the city and possibly turn enemies into temporary allies if it benefits her. Law enforcement's presence in Episode 5 is another clue about what's coming. The agents are watching from a distance, gathering data, connecting patterns, and moving closer to the truth without making noise. Every time the camera lingers on them, it signals that they are not rushing, they are building a case. This means Episode 6 might introduce a turning point where one small slip from any character could attract full federal attention. And with Chicago's criminal world becoming louder and more unstable, That slip is almost guaranteed to happen soon. The pressure they bring will force the crews to panic. And panic always leads to rash choices, unexpected alliances, or deadly mistakes. The final clue in episode 5 is the tone of the ending. There is no relief, no moment of calm, no sign that anyone is safe. Instead, the last moments feel like a warning, as if the city itself is whispering that the next episode will not hold back. The tension is too high, the threats are too close, and the stakes are too large for episode 6 to be anything but explosive. Everything points to a storm building over Chicago, one made of betrayal, ambition, fear, and revenge, and when it hits, the fallout will change the direction of the entire season. Episode 5 has sparked a wave of fan theories, each one trying to make sense of the clues, the quiet moments, and the rising danger surrounding every character. One major theory suggests that Tommy is unknowingly being set up by someone much closer than he realizes. Fans point to the way people around him hesitate before speaking, the quick looks exchanged in the background, and the sudden shift in certain characters' behavior. These small things make it feel like Tommy is being watched not just by law enforcement but by someone inside his circle who is waiting for the right moment to strike. Many believe this hidden threat might be the real villain of the season, someone who benefits from Tommy and Diamond fighting each other while they stay unseen and protected. Another theory focuses on Jenard, who continues to move more recklessly with every episode. Fans think his desperation will force him to make a deal with someone unexpected. Maybe even an outside group looking for a way into Chicago's drug world. If this theory is right, episode 6 could introduce a new enemy who doesn't care about the old rules and won't hesitate to destroy the current balance of power. Claudia's growing confidence has sparked theories of her own. Some viewers believe she is secretly working with a figure from Tommy's past, hoping to use that person's knowledge to outsmart him. The idea comes from the way she watches him, almost studying him, as if she understands more about his weaknesses than she should. Other fans think Claudia is planning to break away from her family completely and start her own empire. One built on smarter deals and cleaner power. Her cold, controlled actions in episode 5 make fans believe she could become one of the series' most dangerous masterminds. Not through violence but through patience and strategy. A darker theory suggests Claudia might be the one to trigger the season's biggest betrayal, a twist that would force Tommy to confront his own blind spots. If Claudia manages to stay hidden long enough, she may rise faster than anyone expects. Diamond's storyline has also created a storm of guesses. Many fans believe he is headed toward a breaking point where his loyalty to his crew will collide with his instinct for survival. A popular theory says Diamond may choose to protect the people he cares about, even if it means turning on others inside CBI. Some viewers think he is gathering information quietly, preparing for a moment where he must decide whether the future of CBI is worth the danger that surrounds it. Another theory suggests Diamond could form a temporary alliance with someone unexpected, maybe even an old rival, if it helps him regain control. His emotional distance in episode 5, combined with his rising frustration, makes fans believe he is standing at the edge of a major transformation, one that might make him colder, tougher, and less forgiving as the season progresses. There is also growing speculation about the role of law enforcement. Some fans think the agents have already planted an informant somewhere in the story. Someone who appears loyal but is secretly recording information or feeding details to the feds. This theory comes from the scenes where characters leave the room and the camera lingers for a moment, almost as if it wants viewers to wonder who is being watched. Another theory ties back to the wider Power universe, suggesting that a familiar face from another series might appear to tighten the legal pressure on Chicago. Whether or not this happens, fans agree on one thing: the authorities feel more organized and more focused this season, which means someone inside the criminal world is going to make a mistake that changes everything. The final bundle of fan theories revolves around the possibility of a major death coming soon. Some believe episode 6 will be the turning point where a character who seems safe suddenly becomes the target of a ruthless move. These theories come from the way episode 5 ends with tension, silence, and a feeling that someone's time is running out. Fans are reading every expression, every argument, every quiet stare, trying to guess who won't survive the rising chaos. Whether it is a betrayal, a raid, or a sudden attack, the theories all agree: Chicago is heading toward a moment that will shake every character and shift the entire direction of the season. And when that moment hits, nothing will look the same again.